Have you ever wondered how much plastic you use in a day and where it ends up? Let's ponder for a moment. It's in the toothbrush you use every morning, the keyboard under your fingertips, the container that held your lunch, even in the fibers of your clothing. It's not just ubiquitous, it's omnipresent. Our daily lives are permeated with plastic, a material so pervasive that it's hard to imagine a world without it. Now let's take this a notch higher. Picture this. Every year, we produce roughly 300 million tons of plastic. That's about the weight of the entire human population. And here's the kicker. Nearly half of this is designed for single use. We're talking about items like plastic bags, straws, coffee stirrers, soda bottles, and food packaging. Items that we use for a few minutes, maybe an hour at most, and then discard. But where does all this plastic go? Some of it is recycled, some incinerated, but a staggering amount ends up in our environment, cluttering our landscapes and clogging our waterways. The oceans are particularly hard hit. It's estimated that by mid-century, there could be more plastic in the ocean than fish, by weight. The environmental impact is just the tip of the iceberg. When plastic debris litter our oceans and waterways, they pose a direct threat to marine life. Animals get entangled in larger pieces, and smaller bits are often mistaken for food. But plastic doesn't just disappear. It breaks down into smaller and smaller pieces, known as microplastics, which can linger in the environment for hundreds, even thousands of years. Not only is plastic a visual blight, it's a ticking time bomb. It's a material that was designed to last, and that's exactly what it's doing. The plastic we've produced in the last 60 years is still around, still causing problems, still accumulating. Clearly, the scale of plastic pollution is massive, and its effects are far-reaching. As we look around us, the plastic problem is not just about the environment. It's about us, our future, and the kind of world we want to leave behind. But what exactly happens when plastic ends up in our environment? Well, let's dive into this. Picture a plastic bottle bobbing in the ocean. Over time, the bottle breaks down into smaller pieces, not biodegrading but photodegrading. This means it becomes tiny fragments of plastic, or microplastics, which can be ingested by marine life. From the tiniest plankton to the largest whales, no creature is immune to this menace. These plastics can choke, starve, and poison these creatures, leading to a decrease in biodiversity and disrupting the food chain. But oceans aren't the only victims here. Plastic waste also invades our lands. Discarded plastic bags, bottles, and packaging materials often end up in our forests, parks, and other terrestrial ecosystems. These plastics can take hundreds to thousands of years to break down, during which time they leach harmful chemicals into the soil and groundwater. This contamination affects not only the plants and animals that live there, but also the quality of our drinking water. Now, let's look up and consider the atmosphere. You see, the production and disposal of plastic products release greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide and methane. From the extraction of raw materials to the incineration of plastic waste, each step contributes to the worsening of climate change. Plus, the microplastics we talked about earlier? They can also become airborne, contributing to air pollution and potential health risks. And it's not just the wildlife suffering. The very ecosystems that provide us with food, clean air, and water are under threat. When a single piece of plastic can wreak havoc on numerous levels of life, it's clear we're dealing with more than just an eyesore. So, plastic pollution is not just an aesthetic issue, it's a serious environmental crisis. The consequences are far-reaching, affecting all corners of our planet and all forms of life. As we continue to produce and discard plastic at an alarming rate, we must also confront the impact of our actions and consider how we can reduce, reuse, and recycle to safeguard our planet's future. But it's not only wildlife that suffers. Do you know how plastic affects us, humans? Well, let's talk about it. Plastic pollution is not just an environmental issue, it's a human health issue too. Every day, we're exposed to plastic in ways we may not even realize. From the plastic bottles we drink from, to the packaging of our food, to the microbeads in our face wash, plastic is everywhere. And it's not staying put. It's breaking down into tiny particles called microplastics. These minuscule fragments, less than 5 millimeters in size, are so pervasive they've been found in the deepest ocean trenches and even in Arctic snow. But it doesn't stop there. They're entering our food chain. You see, when plastic breaks down, it doesn't just disappear. It fragments into these microplastics, which are consumed by marine life. These creatures are then caught and eaten by us, essentially serving us a side of plastic with our seafood. And it's not just seafood. Microplastics have been found in everything from honey to table salt. But why should we care? Well, plastics contain a cocktail of chemicals, some of which are additives that give plastic its flexibility, durability, and color. The concern is that these chemicals can leach out of the plastic and into our bodies. Some of these additives, like phthalates and bisphenol A or BPA, have been linked to hormone disruption, which can lead to a host of health issues including obesity, heart disease, and developmental problems in children. We are not separate from our environment. The health of our planet directly impacts our own health. When we pollute our oceans, our soil, and our air with plastic, we are, in turn, polluting our own bodies. So, while the environmental impact of plastic pollution is staggering, the human health impact is equally concerning. This is not just about saving the whales or the turtles. It's about saving us. Our reliance on plastic is not only harming our planet, but it's also threatening our own health. It may seem like a daunting problem, but there are solutions. So what can we do about it? Firstly, we can reduce our personal plastic consumption. This may involve small steps, such as refusing plastic straws at restaurants, bringing our own reusable bags to the grocery store, or opting for products with less packaging. Remember, every bit counts. Secondly, we can reuse the plastic that we already have. Instead of throwing away plastic containers, we can repurpose them. Old plastic bottles can become plant pots, and plastic bags can be used as bin liners. The idea is to extend the life of these items and delay their journey to the landfill. Thirdly, recycling is crucial. We need to ensure that our plastic waste ends up in the recycling bin, not the trash. But recycling alone won't solve the plastic problem. It's important to remember that not all plastics are recyclable, and even those that are, not all get recycled. Supporting plastic bans is another way forward. Many cities and countries are already implementing bans on single-use plastics, and these initiatives need our backing. If your local area doesn't have such a ban, consider advocating for one. Seeking out alternatives to plastic is also key. There are now numerous plastic-free products available, from bamboo toothbrushes to biodegradable packaging. Making the switch may require some effort, but it's a worthwhile investment for our planet. Finally, we need to spread awareness. The more people understand the plastic problem, the more they will be willing to take action. Share information with your friends, family, and community. Encourage them to join you in your efforts to reduce plastic waste. In conclusion, tackling the plastic problem is not just about big governmental policies or corporate responsibilities. It's about individual action. It's about you and me making conscious decisions to reduce, reuse, recycle, support bans, seek alternatives, and spread awareness. Change is possible, and each one of us has a role to play. On this Earth Day 2024, let's not forget the power of collective action. The truth is, we all have a role to play in the fight against plastic pollution. It's not just about recycling or refraining from using single-use plastics, although those are important steps. It's about making sustainable choices every single day and encouraging the people around us to do the same. Imagine if every person on this planet decided today to reduce their plastic consumption by just a fraction. Think of the billions of pieces of plastic that would never make it into our oceans, our forests, our cities. That's the power of collective action. But don't stop there. Spread the word. Share the facts about plastic pollution with friends, family, colleagues, anyone who will listen. Use the platforms you have, whether that's social media or your local community group, to raise awareness about the issue. The more people who know about the problem, the more pressure there will be on companies and governments to make changes. And remember, collective action isn't just about individual choices. It's also about pushing for policy changes. It's about demanding that our governments implement strict regulations on plastic production and waste management. It's about holding corporations accountable for the plastic they produce and ensuring they're part of the solution, not the problem. You may think that your actions are just a drop in the ocean, but remember this: the ocean is made up of billions of drops. Each one of us can make a difference. Each one of us can contribute to a wave of change. So on this Earth Day, let's pledge to do our part. Let's pledge to reduce, reuse, recycle. Let's pledge to educate ourselves and others about the realities of plastic pollution. Let's pledge to demand better from our leaders and our corporations. Remember, every action counts. Together we can turn the tide on plastic pollution. Today, on Earth Day, people across the world are coming together to advance sustainability and protect our environment. The theme of this year's Earth Day is the Planet vs. Plastic, aiming for a global reduction in the production of plastic by 60% by 2040. Warwickshire County Council is joining this global movement, reminding us of the crucial steps we can all take to be part of this change. Firstly, always opt for reusable items. This could be your water bottle, coffee cup, or shopping bag. By avoiding single-use items and switching to reusable versions, think of the vast quantities of plastic you'll save each time you use them. Secondly, consider cleaning up some litter in your local area. Every piece of litter you collect aids wildlife, and if you can recycle what you pick up, even better. Thirdly, when shopping, choose options with the least packaging. You could try a zero-waste shop, or make small changes such as selecting loose fruits and vegetables, or brands that use minimal plastic in their packaging. Finally, recycle everything you can. There will inevitably be some plastic to dispose of, so make an effort to recycle whatever possible. Most plastic can go into your household recycling, but some items, like soft plastic bags, can be recycled at your local supermarket. In conclusion, let's all do our part to reduce plastic pollution and protect our planet. Every small action contributes to a larger change, and together we can help turn the tide against plastic pollution.